the most common for business valuation is, I would say, corporate divorce is number one. So 5 shareholders, 1 shareholder wants out, and then you go ahead and you value the company based on what you think you would get for the company. And then someone gets bought out, or someone buys someone out, or something to that effect. The next most likely is tax planning. So the government says, I'm okay with you transferring your company, but it's got to be at fair market value. So you get an evaluator to come in, do their due diligence, do what's called a reasonable effort. And that's for any sort of tax planning. In order to paper something or to say, I'm doing a transaction at a specific price, I need to know that I'm making a reasonable effort to determine that my price is at market value, or whatever specific term the CRA uses for that purpose. The third most common is probably matrimonial separation, so divorce, where spouse A owns a business and is going to keep it, and spouse B has no interest in owning the business and needs to be bought out. Very similar to corporate divorce. The only real difference there is that in corporate divorce, let's say those 5 partners, they all kind of know the business reasonably well, whereas in matrimonial settlement, or personal divorce, I'm not sure if that's a term you'd use, but one person often knows more, and then the other person knows less, and that's a bit of an issue, because then there can be disagreement and lots of black holes and sort of more fog in that scenario. Then the next most common is prior to sale. Maybe that's not the next most common, but it's probably pretty up there. So they want to take their business to market. They don't really trust business brokers. So they want to get an idea if this is the time to sell, and they want to take their report to the business broker and say, yeah, this is what I want for it, based on this person I've done work with in the past, or some of his credentials that I trust, because business brokers are like realtors, they're salesmen, and they get paid when they sell something. So they may want to shore that up. The other side of business brokers is the business broker comes to us and says, my client has an unrealistic expectation about what their business is worth. Can you please do a valuation so that we can list it for a reasonable price? So that's another one like the sort of pre-sale, but it's more from a different angle. Not saying I want to protect myself, making sure I'm getting a good broker price, but a broker saying we need a realistic price, and our client won't believe us. And that's more common than you'd think. But when people work to build a business their entire lives, it's really hard to let go of it for less than they think it's worth. That's a real hard emotional thing. And then the last one I'd say is for financing. Last common. So a bank says, hey, someone just bought a company. I want to lend on it, but I need to know that the value that they paid for it is reasonable, and I want to be able to sue someone if they default on their loan. So I'll get you to write a report. I'll get into your professional liability insurance if so happens. And that's really how a lot of appraisal specialists. That's a lot of the reason why we're hired. So like commercial appraisal is there so that banks can have some liability insurance to buy into if the fundamentals are wrong, or to bite into in a lawsuit, or if an equipment appraiser appraises something, then they get it wrong, and the bank can go after that liability insurance.